Thank you everyone for joining today's live walkthrough session, Create, Execute, Manage Test Scripts on Katalon. My name is Webogen, Partner Solution Engineer at Katalon. I have 11 plus years of experience in software automation testing. And in Katalon, my role is specific to connecting to the customers and partners day to day to understand their testing automation challenges and help them to resolve with the help of Katalon Studio. Today with me, we have a guest speaker, Kalpana Kukreza, test consultant at Rapid Circle. Hey, hi Kalpana.
Hi, Veba. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking out your time and joining us here today. We can appreciate or we can guarantee you that this is going to be one very much informative as well as an introductory webinar. So we hope to keep it like very much interactive. Like Weber already mentioned that I would be your speaker for today's webinar. So yeah, I'm Kalpana Kukreja, a test consultant at Rapid Circle. I'm also a Katalon certified professional. I recently received my Katalon professional certificate. I have experience into different domains of testing, whether it's like functional, automation, API, or even the accessibility testing. I often believe that each company or each testing team, they strive to get automation done through their project, because whenever we talk about testing, like automation testing is one first thing that comes to our mind. And like if we can achieve it in a simpler way, then nobody wants to go for the hard way. And this is how I landed up using Katalon. I have been using Katalon for more than 2 years now, and my journey has been really very smooth. So yeah, that is about me.
Thank you, Kalpana. Thanks for the quick intro. So let's go with the today's agenda, what we are going to cover in next 1 hour. So we are going to cover the Katalon platform overview. Next, we are going to see the live demo on how we can create, execute, and manage the script on Katalon. And going forward, we're going to have the Q&A session. So if you have any doubt, any question, you can just post in a Q&A session section. So at the end, we are going to take those questions and try to answer it in a possible way. And at the end, we are going to have the poll. If whatever we are going to talk in today's session, if you like, you want to share the feedback, you can share with the poll. That's all we have planned for today's session. So let's quickly start with the Katalon platform overview. So as you can see, Katalon platform. So in Katalon platform, we can automate all kind of application, whether it's a web, API, mobile, desktop, one solution for all the kind of application. And in Katalon, we have different modules, which we can use in different phases of testing. We have Katalon Studio for the script generation. You can generate the script with just record. Any kind of application, you can create the script generation with just record. And next we have, you want to do the execution, you want to do over the command line, or you want to do over the cross browser, different OS, different devices. You can do with the help of Test Cloud. And you want to do over the command line, you can do with the help of runtime engine. And you want to manage all your QA activity at the central repository. For that also we have solution, TestOps. TestOps is the central repository where you can manage all your QA activity. You can start your release. You can map your script with the releases. You can schedule your test runs. You can do the cross-browser testing. You can do the parallel testing. And at the end, you can extract the report in a different format. You can receive the reports over the mail once the execution will get over. That you can easily achieve with the help of Katalon platforms. One solution for all the QA problems. Next, we are going to see how we can achieve the team collaboration with the help of Katalon platforms. So as you know that in our team, we have different roles like QA manager, QA lead, testers, developers, how we are going to use Katalon platform to manage that better team collaboration. So as you can see, QA managers, business people, and QA lead, they can start the release, they can plan the release, they can start the sprint in the TestOps. And same way, the testers can do the script development, they can create the script development, they can do the debugging with the help of Katalon Test Studio. Once that tester will develop the scripts, they can push their code to the central repository, which is Katalon desktops, and they can do the easily integration with CI/CD pipeline tools. So once developer will push their code, commit their code, so testers can schedule their run over the every code commits or over the night. So once the execution will get over, managers or leads can extract the report directly from the desktop. So they need not to reach out to QA members to get the reports. They can easily extract from the desktops. So it's, you can see how easy it's to achieve that better team collaboration with the help of Katalon platforms. So next we are going to see the platform demo, because this session is mainly for how we can achieve the better script creation, execution, and manage on the Katalon Studio. So let's start with the live session, live demonstration on the Katalon Studio. Hand it over to Kalpana.
Hello everyone, I'm Kalpana and I would be walking you guys through how to create your first test case using Katalon Platform and how you can execute and manage the test scripts and then followed by the reporting of the same. So to get started, it is very important for you to have Katalon Studio downloaded into your system. So to download the Katalon Studio, you just have to go to the katalon.com website. Here, under the platform tab, you can see a Katalon Studio. Just go there and click on to download Studio. So you get an option here to download the Studio based on to the configurations of your system. So like I am having Windows 64, so I have installed the Windows 64 version of it. And you can install the one that is suitable based on to your system and its configurations. So once you have downloaded and installed the Katalon exe, this is how it looks like upon the first click. This is the home page of your Katalon exe. The left section is your test explorer pane where you can create and maintain test cases, object repository, test suite data files and all. So to get started, just go to the file and click a new project. Name this project as Katalon webinar. So this is going to be a web project. I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how to automate a website. So we are going to create some web UI tests here. And this would be the location where you want your Katalon Studio or your project to be stored. And just click on to OK. So once you click on to OK, a project is already created. Now it's time for us to create our first ever use test case. So in that case, under this Test Explorer section, you can see the name test cases. Just right click and create a new test case here. So Katalon basically allows you to create your test cases using record and playback method. The other one is while using keywords approach, and then a script method where you can actually write your test scripts, or you can write the code for your test scripts for those who are having like advanced experience upon test automation and they know how to create or how to write code using script approach. So for that, they have provided us a script console. But for the beginners, there is a record and playback option where you can easily record every action on the web. Another one is keyword approach. So we are going to see all three ways of creating a test case in this webinar. So let us name the first test case would be TC001, record and playback. Now, this is your test console. Here, any test case that you are going to create, it would be added over here. So I'll show you like what test case are we going to perform. So this is our test website. So in this website, our steps would be navigate to this website, then go to make appointment button, enter the username and password. This is a test website, so you can practice and create as many test cases as you want. Then we would select the facility as Hong Kong. We would check for the readmission and select the healthcare program as Medicaid. Select any date. Let's see, I've been selecting like May 1st or May 2nd, and then book a appointment and then go back to a home page. So this is the flow that we are going to check. So now go back to your Catalan Studio. Here on the top ribbon, if you can see, there is an option called as Record Web. So if you click onto the Record Web, copy the link of this website here. Yeah, just click on the Record Web. Once you click on it, a web recorder would be opened. You just need to paste the URL of your website here, and you can choose on which browser you need to start recording. So for now, I'm selecting Chrome, but before that, let me expand this. So every action that we are going to perform on a browser, it is going to be reflected here in this section. So just hit record button. Yeah, it has already opened the browser. Let's go to make appointment page. So this is our username, John Doe. Then this is the password. Click on the login. So once we are on this page, we would select the facility as Hong Kong. Check this checkbox. Select the healthcare program as Medicare. Select the date as 2nd of May. And then select the book appointment. And once we are on the book appointment, we would go back to the home page and then close the browser. So if you see all those actions that we have already taken on the browser, they are captured here. So this is the action that we have performed. This is the object list on which object we have performed the action, and this is the input. So just save this particular script. Click on OK. And here you can see our first ever test case is already generated. And here under the object repository section, there are all the objects that we have captured while working onto this test case. If you want to check how this functions, you can simply run it. So here on the top ribbon, there is a run option. So when you click that, you can select the browser, on which browser you need to run the test case. I'm selecting Chrome here, and it is started executing on the Chrome. So now we can see that it has already started executing. So this is the same test case that we have seen, and now this has been executed. And you can check here that this test case is passed. The job progress also shows that the test case is passed. And here at the bottom of the Katalon Studio, there is a tab of Log Viewer, where you can view all the logs of your particular test cases, whether it is passed or not. Even you can view the details of each test step, like what action is performed on what test step, what input has been provided, and if there are any errors, then what sort of errors are there. So this is how you create your first test case using record and playback function. You can also change the views of this log, and you can see that each step have been passed, and the start time and the end time of each of the test step. So I would just go back to the tree view. All right, so this was all about our first test step, where each action that you are performing is automatically recorded by the record web feature. Each object is recorded. So I hope you already know what an object is. So basically, when you are performing any sort of automation testing on a web page, each element or each component of your web page is identified as an object. So it is important for you to identify and store those objects so that when you're trying to perform any sort of action on any web element, software recognizes that object and then performs the same action. Now let's move ahead and create another test case with manual mode, that is a keyword mode. So to perform or to create another test case using a manual or keyword mode, this time we are going to combine our test cases, and I would be walking you guys through the manual mode and the script mode in the same test case itself. So let's go to test cases section and create a new test case. It would be C002 manual and script mode. Click on OK. So if you check at this particular console, here at this point, this is a manual tab that is selected. Besides that, there's a script tab. So you can easily navigate between a manual tab and a script tab. And the good thing is, whatever you're creating in the manual tab using keywords, it gets automatically converted into a script. I think you'll get a clearer idea if I start to demonstrate it for you guys. Yeah, so here on the top ribbon, there is an add option, and there is a small arrow or drop down here. So you need to add a web UI keyword because we are working on a web project. So let's select a web UI keyword. It will give you a list of all the keywords that are already built in into the Katalon, and you can use all those keywords while working on your test automation project. So our very first keyword would be open browser. So I would just type open. Yeah, so you can see it has already displayed me the open browser. A small pop-up or a description box that is being opened beside the keyword, it gives you the details of that particular keyword, like what parameters are you supposed to pass through that? Are there any sort of validations that you need to take? So you can see that it is mentioned that what does open browser do and what parameters you are going to pass it to it. So just select the open browser. Now you are supposed to provide the parameter of a URL as an input here. So our input would be this Katalon demo site. Click on OK. So now we have moved to this particular URL. Our next step would be click on to make appointment button. So going back, I'll add another keyword and then add click. This will define my on-click event. Now for click keyword, there is any input is not required, but we need to pass an object. So we can see all our objects are already captured and stored under object repository. So I would find this is the object for make appointment button. I would just select this object and drag and drop it over here. So this action is also done. After that, add another text where we would set the text for our username and password field. So I'm using the option set text. The object would be a username, input username. So I'm passing that object here. and my input is the value of my username. So that is John Doe. Okay. Then another thing, again, set text for setting the text into the password field. Set text, the object would be input password and the value of my password that I need to pass in. This is not a password. Click onto OK. And then a last step is click onto the login button, which is here. So we did like make appointment, entered username and password, and now we need to click onto the login button. Add another keyword, click, and this is the login button. So I would just drag this object and drop it over here. Now, if you try and switch between manual and script mode, you'll get to know that whatever the actions that you have mentioned here using the keyword approach, it gets converted into the script automatically. So you did not have to literally write this script. Katalon has already imported all the elements that you need, and each action that you are specifying in manual mode, it gets automatically converted into the script mode. But what if you want to write a script or you want to write your test case in the script mode? So initial option, initial keyword web UI is the keyword that specifies our project, which is a web project. So web UI. After logging in, the next thing that we do is select the healthcare value from the drop down, right? So it's the web UI, and the value would be select option by value. It will also give you suggestions if you do not really recall what actions or what keyword you need to use. So yeah, it is select option by value. It also needs a test object, so it's important for us to pass the test object over here. So I think this is the object of healthcare center. Yes, so I'll drag this object and drop it here. So this is my test object. And now you need to pass the value of your test object. Like after those, in that drop down, there were like 3 things. Out of those 3, which value you want the system to select. So it was a Hong Kong healthcare center that we already know about. So I'll just go here and pass that value as a single quote. What's in this script? Yeah. So this is my value of Hong Kong Healthcare Center. So I'll pass this value in single quotes here, and my regex value would be true. This is just a Boolean flag that we are going to set, that if this thing happens, then do this action. Or if the system found, or if the Katalon found this value in the dropdown, then the flag is set as true. After that, we check onto the checkbox, the healthcare, the readmission checkbox. So for this, while working with the web recorder, it has used the event click, but there's another keyword here in Katalon, which is a check keyword. It is usually used to check any sort of checkbox. So let's use that. This is the object. The object for my checkbox. After that, I think there was a date selection, probably. No, we select the input. Yeah. So, click. Select the Medicaid program. If I switch it back to manual mode, you can see the next steps that we have written in the script view, they are converted into manual mode itself. Our next option is select the date. So we did click onto the date picker. This is the date picker object. And then select the date, which is 2nd of May. This is my object for the 2nd of May. And then make appointment button. So let's click onto the make appointment button now. Make appointment. No, I think book up. It's book appointment. Yeah. And after book appointment, we would move back to we would just close the browser. One more thing, if you miss to write any sort of syntax, so this is web UI.close browser. Usually it takes the suggestion and it pre-fills the keyword or it pre-fills the syntax for you. But if for example, let's say if you have missed to add any sort of bracket or if you have missed any syntax, it will give you a red cross, which will show you what is expected and what you're missing over here. As now you can see that it is saying that you are expecting a closing bracket over here. And once you do it, it's all set. So just save it. And let's do a cross-browser testing at this time. We have already executed one script using Chrome. But you can see that when you go to this run option, there are different browsers that are being already supported by Katalon. So this time, let's just use Edge Chromium. So I'll click to Edge Chromium. So yeah, this is my Edge browser. You can see that. And this test case has been started to executing upon the Edge. Yeah. So all the steps are done here. It's been executed onto Edge this time. So as I said that Katalon already supports a cross-browser testing. That means any test case that is recorded or that is created on one browser, it can be executed on another browser with the same sets of objects. Now let's check how you can manage and maintain these test scripts in a test suite. So under this test suite folder, I'll create a new test suite with the name as Webinar Suite. So once this is created, you can see an add option here. When you click on to add, it will give you a list of all the test cases that exist in your test case section. So you can add those particular test cases in your test suite. Right now, I'm selecting both the test cases. But before that, let me make some changes and let us pass the invalid value in the password field of second test case so that this one fails. I am failing this test case on purpose because I really want to show you guys about how the report for the failed test case is generated and how you can identify where the test case is failing. So now I have made changes to that so that in the password section, this test case is going to enter an invalid password. So it will be failing at the password section. So going back to the test suite, test case is already here. Here at the right corner, there's a run column where you can select out of, if let's say you are having like 10 or 50 test cases in a test suite, and you can check or you can decide which test cases you want to run in a particular test suite and which you do not want to run. Right now, both of them are checked, but if needed, you can uncheck them. And the remaining test cases, those are checked, they would be run. So let's just run this particular test suite right now. Again, go to the run section. I would use the Chrome browser. You can see in the job progress, it shows that a test suite is already has started its execution. This is our first test case. So it has done executing. You can see here in the log viewer, the first test case was done execution, and it's time for second test case to be executed. And since the login is failed because the password was invalid, it cannot move further. So of course, the other objects are not found. So it is supposed to fail here. Let's give it some try and this will fail. I mean, give it some time and this will fail now because it usually tries to identify the object with nearby objects as well. It tries to identify the object on the page if it exists, but it could not. So you can see here in the log viewer at step 6, because it did enter the value in the password field and clicked onto the login button, but it cannot go to the further step because the element could not found. The drop down element where we were selecting the healthcare center, that element was not found because uh, it could never go till that page. It could never log in, and that's why it is failing here. So yeah, you can see the breakdown of each step, and it will also show you like why it is failing. It is unable to find the element located by this XPath. And you can also check the logs and the root cause over here. Here at the end, if you see that there is an option called export reports. So after each test suite execution, Katalon generates a report in HTML, CSV file, and even the PDF format. Now, how to explore or how to export that particular report? Just go into this report section here in your Test Explorer pane. Here is a folder created and it has the name of your test suite. Just right click and export the report. I would be exporting the report as HTML because it gives me a detailed view of the thing. So I like to view the report in HTML format. Click on HTML and just save it somewhere. Right now I'm like saving it on my desktop. So once it is saved, you can see this report. This is the execution environment, like on what browser you have executed this report, what was the Katalon version, and these are the execution logs. If you expand this, you can see that this was the test suite. There were 2 tests in total, out of which one has passed and one has failed. Then there is a test case wise breakdown. Our first test case is passed completely. Each step is passed. If you need to see any more details, you can just expand it and just check the details of the same. Let's go to our second test case that was failed. So you can see that this is the test case. This has failed and its reason was unable to select the option by value. So it could not go to this step and that's why it is failed. If you can go to the failed test step, at this point, it will give you the screenshot of the step where it has failed. I mean, I have seen the teams, I have seen QA leads who are struggling usually to make sure that a report or the test execution report gives you the screenshot of the step on which it is failed. So there are always some another plugins that you need to add or some extra lines of code that you have to write so that a failed step screenshot is added into the report and so that it is easy for us to understand where it is failing. But in Katalon reporting, it is the inbuilt feature where you already get screenshot of the failed step and you get all the logs that you want about where it has failed. So I think, yes, that is the one of the easiest way to understand and to manage and run your test cases in your test suite. I hope you have understood it, how you can create your very first test case and how easy it is for anyone, even the people who are having like advanced level of test automation experience, or the people who are very new to the test automation, or if you are just trying to get started and switch from a manual tester to the automation. And this is the easiest way that I have seen so far. The learning curve is pretty easy, and I hope you have understood and keep practicing. I mean, if you keep practicing, you'll understand it more and more. So that was all from me for this demo, and yeah, thank you. So I think yes, that is the one of the easiest way to understand and to manage and run your test cases in your test suite. I hope you have understood it, how you can create your very first test case and how easy it is for anyone, even the people who are having like advanced level of test automation experience, or the people who are very new to the test automation, or if you are just trying to get started and switch from a manual tester to the automation. And this is the easiest way that I have seen so far. The learning curve is pretty easy, and I hope you have understood and keep practicing. I mean, if you keep practicing, you'll understand it more and more. So that was all from me for this demo, and yeah, thank you. All right, I see lots of text here about the video was blurry. You could not see the screen,
Yeah.
but yeah, don't worry. We would be sharing this demo part with you because I think something must have been wrong with the screen resolution while sharing it. But I will be sharing you the video of this particular demo.
Okay. Thank you, Kalpana. Thank you for the good demo. So we have lots of question and lots of the over the chat and Q&A section, which we are going to take up next. Before that, Kalpana, can we quickly walk through the data parameterization, how we can achieve the data parameterization with the help of Katalon Studio?
Yeah, sure.
So we are going to see how we can do the data parameterization with the help of Katalon. And after that, we are going to see one of the more AI features of the Katalon, which is self-healing. Once we'll cover those two, then we are going to take up all the questions. So don't worry, we are going to take all the technical questions which you have posted over the chat.
Yeah. Uh, can you please allow me to share my screen? Yeah. I just hope this time it is better.
Yeah, Kalpana, it's better now.
All right. Yes. So we already saw creation of test cases, execution of test suite, and now another one is very important feature in terms of automation testing, that is a data-driven testing. So a data-driven testing is basically when you have to execute the same test case with different sets of data. Whether it is validate, proper use case would be validating the access parameters or the access to different roles of the people which are added to the system. Let's say you have to validate a particular test case with different sort of login credentials. That could be one of the use case. Or there are certain systems where there is a privilege or the option for admin and sub-admin role, and you need to see that the access that is given to an admin, it should not be given to a sub-admin. So in that case, the data-driven testing is widely used. So for that, here in the under the left pane, there is a section of data files. uh, you have to just select and add new test data to it. Our new test data would be in the Excel format. I would give the name format test data as maybe login credentials. Okay, and now you get the option to upload the data file. So what I have done, I have already created a test data file. This is two sets of username and password. We are going to run the data driven testing on the same test cases that we have just created. So this one is the valid set of credentials and this one is an invalid one. So ideally it should not pass the testing. And this is my header name, the column header, that is username and password. So I would,
Kalpana, like we didn't able to see if you are showing the Excel sheet. It was like, not shared one.
okay, just
Yeah.
now is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So yes, so this is my header, that is column headers, username and password, and these are just two sets of data. The first one is the valid one, and second one is the invalid one. So I would be uploading this data file here. So yeah, you can see that my data is already uploaded. And now when I told you guys that we need to check or the test for the same test case using different sets of data, that means my input is not going to be a constant. It is going to be a variable. So it's important for us to change our input type into the variables. So in this first test case, if you can see that we have given this input, we might need to change it into the variable. So I would add another variable of name username. And its default value, which is currently here. And another variable would be a password thing. Right. Yeah. While I'm here, I just read a question somebody was asking that in which format the password is getting stored. So password usually gets stored into a string format, and you can also encrypt the password. So you have a different keyword saying that set encrypted text. It is usually used when you are trying to save some sort of uh, confidential data, whether it's the card details in terms of like finance projects or the password or the access keys. So yeah, but usually it is stored in the form of the string or whatever the value type that you have. So we will have to change this value type into variable, and its value would be a username.
And Kalpana, there is one more feature like in the help section, if you want to generate the encrypted text, that option we have in the help.
Yes, I would show that as well. Okay, so we just changed it to password. Yes, the thing that Weber was referring to, it's like, yes, you do have encrypted text, but how to encrypt a text and in which format you would be encrypting, because there are lots of encryption mechanisms being used. So you can just go to help option and go encrypt text, enter your original text, and Katalon will encrypt it for you and you can use it later. Okay, so we have just replaced our hard-coded values of username and password into the variable format. Coming back to my test suite, here, besides like almost towards the extreme right, there is an option of show data binding. Just click there, add the test data, that is the test data file that we have added. And we have already seen these are the variables in our test case, and this is their type. So now that is going to be a data column type. And what test data we are going to add. Just give me a moment to check for this one. Sorry, I don't know what was wrong with that. Uh, is it still visible, right?
Yeah, Kalpana, it was not pretty clear, but it was visual. Like I can able to read it
Oh.
out. So
Yes, so you have to select the data type as data column, and then check the value that which column you are mapping to what variable. So you'll be mapping the username column to username variable and the password column to password variable. And yeah, this is all. So now what it will do, it will execute this test case of record and playback. That is the first test case twice, once with the uh, correct credentials and the second time with the another set of credentials. So let's try and execute this one. So yes, you can check that it's executed using the first set of credentials. And now with the another username that was admin, and it has failed because yes, it was invalid. It will still wait for a particular time to check if it can find that particular object. I think the default timeout period is somewhere around like 30 seconds, which you can change later, but Katalon will still try to find that element for 30 seconds.
or Kalpana, if you go to the test suite, like in the execution information, you can click at top. You can see here there is execution information.
Yeah. And this was my second test case in the test suite because I executed the test suite, which was already failed because we had failed the second test case in the test suite.
No, no,
You
no.
want me to show where we can change the timeout?
Yes, and execution information, you can go there.
Yeah. Okay. So here on top menu
No,
under
no,
the
no, 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 no. Here only in test suite level, you can see at top execution information where it's showing the add
oh,
button. Yeah.
here on top, you mean?
Here where we are adding the test cases na, in test suites.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the drop down. Okay.
Yeah. Here you can set the time mode at test suite level if you don't want to go with the default one.
Ah, yes. So yeah, you can change it from here as well. Right? Correct. Okay. So yeah, what I was gonna say. Sorry. I'm sorry, I kind of lost it. But yes, so here you can check in console log viewer. I am hoping that it is visible to you because yeah, I cannot really zoom it. So this is my first test case that is executed two times. Once with the username as John Doe, which is the correct one, and second time with the username as admin, which is the invalid one. So you can see that I uploaded a test data file with two sets of data, and the same test case, it took one set for each iteration, and then it executed the same set of tests for that. And this was my second test case, which was present in the test suite, which was already executed. So I think, yes, that is with the data-driven testing. Uh, yeah, so somebody is asking if I'm having like 400 test cases and some are in the test suite and others aren't. How can you tell which script uses the variable without having to go into each? I think you configure that at if you want particular test to use the data files, you can define variables into those test case, and then you can configure at test suite level and even at the test case level if you want to execute, if you want that particular test case to be executed in what do I say, with the changing sets of data. And yeah, for the same, if you are having test cases into different test suites, because I am assuming that if you have 400 test cases, then they must be in some sort of test suite. You wouldn't be executing them like one by one. So if you have different test suites, and then you can use those global variables as well, and then map the test data to the global variables, which could be used into multiple test suites. Okay, this was about the data driven testing.
Yeah, Kalpana, there is one more question. Like, when I run the test suite, it keeps failing, running multiple times. Do I something wrong in my setting? Yes. So, Kalpana, can you quickly go with the this execution information setting again? Like, as it's already open. So, yeah, maybe by default, Katalon will select this option: retry failed execution immediately and with the value 3. So if your script test run is getting failed one time, so Katalon will try up to 3 times. So that's why maybe your test case is running multiple times.
All right.
Okay, so thank you, Kalpana, for the quick like session on the data parameterization. Okay, it's already like we are up to the time. So let me quickly walk through with the self-healing features of the Katalon Studio. So I will not take more than 5 minutes. So as I already, please let me know is if my screen is up and
Yeah, it's
oh,
visible.
yeah, thank you, Kalpana. So self-healing, what is self-healing? So as we are working on continuous development, so sometime what happen, our application under test, which will get changed. So because of that, some of the object property will get modified, or it was unable to identify the object with the same property which we have already recorded. So what will happen? Our script will get failed. So again, we need to work on the that object identification part manually. But in Katalon, we have one AI capability, self-healing. So what self-healing will do? If it was unable to identify the object with the primary locator, let me show what is the primary locator. So I will go to this button, login button properties. So as you can see here, while recording, it has captured so many locator properties. So this is my primary locator object. If something happened, this property got changed, it was unable to identify the object with the primary locator. So what Katalon will do, it will try to work with the other capture properties. So because Katalon has captured so many properties with different combinations, so it will try to work with other secondary properties, and it will try to fix the object properties at runtimes. So our script will not get failed. If you're running over the like we have done the cellular run, so and some change happened, so it will, our script will not get failed. It will get passed with the help of self-healing. And later, if you come and see the reports, you can get to identify, okay, this object got failed because of self-healing, it got fixed, and you can like later approve that property, and you need not to work on those manually. So it will help you to do the script maintenance time with like without manual efforts. I can say that. So let me do quickly, like I'll just change this object property. Let me add something. Okay, so I have modified my object property for login button. I'll just save this. Okay, now if I'll go to my scripts, if I'll run this script, what will happen? My script should get failed. Okay, if I am, so let me quickly run the second. Okay, let me run. So my script should get failed, but we'll see what will happen, how the self-healing will come in a picture here. So see, it launched the application. See, it got moved ahead with the login button without failing. So, okay, so now we'll go and see the log view. So I'll double click on log view. So you can see here for the login button step, you can see this arrow button. Okay, if I'll click on this arrow button, what you can see? It was saying that it was unable to identify the object with this property, which I have modified. Please recheck the object property to make sure the desired element is located. But below you can see that self-healing worked. So self-healing, it was trying to fix the object property with another secondary object locator properties. And if you want to see the more details on self-healing, so you can go to this self-healing insight. You can go here. Sorry. So you can go here. You can see which object which was not working. What was the broken locator? What was the proposed locator? And like it's recovered by which selection method? And if you want to preview over the application, that also you can do. So once you click on here, you can see this was my object which was getting failed. And here we have option. Sorry, my screen is so much nicer. So below you have option to approve or reject this property. If you want to continue with this proposed locator property, just you can click on this approve button. So what it will do, it will update this object property in the object repository. So if I'll go to this object repository again, if I'll go back to again this object, so you can see here, okay, it's not getting refresh. Okay, let me go back again. So you can see here, this object property got updated with the correct locator. I need not to do anything manually. I just click on that approve button and it got updated. Okay, so somebody was asking in the chat that how we can enable or disable the self-healing features. So you can go to this project settings. In project setting, we have option to enable or disable the self-healing features. So you can see here at the down, we have this self-healing option. So from here, you can disable this self-healing features. And if you want to do the customization for the locator, like here by default, first it will drive with the XPath, then attribute, then CSS. If you want to work on some other locator, that also you can prioritize. And if you don't want to work on the particular keywords, that also you can define here. So you can see here, it won't work with the verify elements. So if you want to do any setting change here, you can do that. Okay. And there is one more question, how we can enable or disable the smart weight. So you can see here in the setting, we have option to enable the smart weight, or we can enable or disable. So what is a smart weight? Smart weight is nothing but it will wait for the whole web page to be get loaded with all the components. Then only it will go for the next action to be performed. So if you want to enable, you can do that. If you want to disable, you can do that. And if you want to do that script level also, we have command like disable smart weight or enable smart weight. So that you can do. So we have the inbuilt keywords. So you can see we have the features to enable and disable the smart weight at script level also. So that also we can do. So that's all we have for today's session. So quickly we'll go with the questions which is posted over the chat, Kalpana. So
Yeah.
some of
Alright.
the question I already answered in Q&A session. So section, some of I already answered it.
Yes, I think I can see one question, which is how do we create object repository for all the elements if you decide to write a script in manual mode? So yes, you can go and identify or store each object before under the object repository before even starting with the script creation. So in Katalon, there is an option for spy web. It's very next to record web. There's an option for spy web where you can simply go and you can capture all the elements on the web page and store it under the different folders in object repository. or you can even manually add the objects by like using inspect element method, and you can copy XPath, or you can write a relative XPath according to your convenience, and you can manually add the objects under object repository section as well before starting the creation of test cases. So I think, yeah, that should answer this question. Uh, can you please point me where to find the demo of using test stops? Okay. I think you would be finding how to get started with the test ops in our courses. So we have the Katalon Academy, and there are a lot of courses available there. And if possible, we would also come up with future webinars upcoming in future, and we would try to cover this particular topic in live in those webinars. But for now, you can anytime refer to Katalon Academy for any such type of material or any such type of tutorial that you need.
Okay,
Uh,
so next question, I will take it. It's for the object repository. We have three options: merge change into existing object, create duplicate objects, and replace existing objects. So yeah, so we have these three options. So if you want to merge the into existing object, you can go with that. It will update the existing object property with the recently recorded one. And if you want to create the duplicate object, so it will create with the same name has 1, 2, 3, 4, so it will append the numbers. So based on it will create the duplicate object and replace the existing object. So it will replace the existing object. If some property got updated with the recent recording, so it will update based on that. So I hope I am able to answer your question. Okay. There is one question: is there way to directly go to object reference? Okay, I think you have answered this.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess another one is how do we upload a file in the test case step. So yeah, we have a built-in keyword of uploading file. You can
Yes.
use that. Then select the object. The object has to be input type, and then give the absolute path of your file, and it should work for you.
Yes. Okay.
Right. What else do we have?
I think we have covered this: how to enable and disable the smart wait, and wondering which platform and scripting language do you guys support at this moment. So Kalpana,
Yes, so Catalan currently support a Groovy scripting language and Java as well. So if you're comfortable in, like, even the Groovy is very easiest one to pick up with. But if even if you're comfortable with JavaScript, then Catalan supports that as well.
yes. And platform we supports like Windows, Mac, Linux. So we support all these three.
Then another live question is what things can be done by scripting that cannot be done with recording test cases? Um, I would say if there is a situation where you have to perform something in loops, where there is a particular set of action that you need to perform, let's say twice or thrice, then it becomes more convenient if you write that particular thing in script view as compared to recording test case. As record will just give you like one round of quick test recording. So if you need to do any sort of modifications in that, so I mean, that's my personal opinion. So I would encourage you to use the script view for the same.
Okay, there is one question on the test cloud. When I try to schedule the test run on test cloud, it showed the error you have reached your limit on running the test cloud. So yeah, so for that you need to go for the test cloud license. So license is a different part. If you want to try the test cloud features, like by default you will get limited number of runs. So if you want to go more for that, you need to go with the license version. Okay, so you want to know that how you can get a copy. So there is one Katalon forum. We'll quickly go through that. If some of the answer, if we were not able to answer it, don't worry. You can post your questions in the forum page, which we are going to show. So can we go to the next slide? Yeah, as I was talking about the licensing one, like for the starter package, as of now, Catalan is offering the 30% discount on platform and standalone version. So you will get 30% or up to $1,500 discount on the platform and standalone version. So in platform, you will get the one platform premium license with three, 300, 3,500 test results execution, one test Katalon test studio enterprises license, and one Katalon runtime engine. If you want to go with some other package, you can always reach out to our marketing team. They can help you with that. And with the standalone, you will get one Katalon studio enterprises and one Katalon runtime engine. So this is the like they have pre-selected one. If you want to configure and if you want to go with the different components, always you can reach out to the marketing team. Next, we have the resources. So if you have any question, further question, discussion or feedbacks, you can always post it in Katalon forum site. So where our Katalon solution team will try to answer all your doubts, technical doubts, or able to resolve all your queries. Then we have the Katalon Academy. If you want to learn something more about the Katalon desktops, Test Cloud, Katalon Studio, you can always log into the Katalon Academy, and you can learn. All the courses are free, of course. So you need not to pay anything for any courses. So you can always like learn something new about Katalon in the Katalon Academy. And third, we have for our upcoming webinar, you can, if you want to attend the next webinar, you can log into this upcoming webinar link and you can register for the next webinar sessions. So that's all we have for today. So hope you have learned. Like this is our Katalon Academy site, as we mentioned. So you can find the courses in this courses section, learning paths, and we have the certification program also. We have 3 levels of certification, and this certification program is a little bit different. So you need not to write any exam or any Q&A or like multiple object questions. It's like as much as you will use the Katalon tool or desktops, test clouds, you will get your certifications. So if you want to know more about this certification program, you can always reach out to Katalon Academy.
Yeah. And before we wrap up for the day, you all must be having a poll under the poll section. So we would really appreciate if you can really just answer the poll for us. That would be really great. All right, and if you still have any more questions that are still not answered because of like we are running out of time, so we have a Catalan forum. The link is already pasted in the chat box. So make sure you post your question in the same thread, and our Catalan experts would be there to answer your questions in the same forum itself. And if you still have any other queries, do reach out to us through our do reach out to our support team. And if you need like any sort of help in terms of getting started with Catalan or any sort of doubts in using Catalan or any questions related to certification or anything that you would need to ask me personally, then I am reachable through LinkedIn. So yeah, I would be happy to help you while getting you guys on board with the Catalan platform as well.